Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you again so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take another look here at Bitcoin, seeing what's going on here. We're descending naturally. We were kind of expecting this to pull back. Our ABC pattern is fulfilling itself. Ideally, we don't go much lower here than the $63,000 mark. That's that lowest fib level here for the most recent retracement. Now, of course, we'll pull up the larger fib levels again, just to give you perspective on key levels in the big picture, the macro. But for right now, this is kind of par for the course, okay? Quick little heads up, and thank you so much for the awesome feedback here from our community. It has been a good week for us. We took some nice profits from Near Protocol, 40%, 27% from Bitcoin, and ICP 21% if you round up a little. We've had 5 successful shorts this week. We had to close one of our longs before stop loss and kind of flip the switch here, right? Because again, a lot of times when the market moves like this, you got to move with it. You can't just be stubborn and hold on for too long. So let's take a quick look at liquidation levels at Bitcoin, kind of double check this here. This is pretty much standard stuff here, folks. We're expecting the $64,000 to $65,000 mark swept. That was somewhere in the range of 10 to 15 billion in liquidation. We zoom in right here, you can see a strong amount of accumulation at 65 and then that low 64 mark. So good news is majority of the most recent longs within the last 7 days have been swept. And if we do take a look at the more extremely recent, we can see some late longs here with liquidation levels right around 63,000. Okay, so they're currently in profit. Of course, you throw enough meat at the wall, it's eventually going to stick, right? So good news, the longs are in profit for the moment, but I think it's a little premature to just say that we're back on track. You don't just jump right in when the price keeps dropping like this here. It takes a while for the price to recover, it has to build a floor. It's less common, although it does happen still in crypto, for the price just to recover instantly, okay? So statistically, we're more probable to stabilize at this level, possibly go a little bit lower. We are getting close-ish to our CME gap at 61 to 60 to 59,000. That's a rough estimate, but generally speaking, still a ton of liquidation at the at this upper level, 69,000. So we're kind of still in the middle of that. I wouldn't say both probabilities are probable. In other words, the probability hitting 69 or 58,500 are both equally about the same because we're smack dab right in the middle. So let's go ahead and talk about this just really quick. CME futures, you can see this here, available to the downside, of course. And if you're not familiar too, and you're part of our community, in my Discord, I do have a live chart section where I share these with you. You can see this chart here live. If you're kind of familiar or unfamiliar with the gaps, those are provided there for my members just to make sure that we have more access to more tools. I'm pointing this out because this is an area that's commonly filled, and I wouldn't be surprised if the price continues lower to that level eventually. Is it going to happen today? Probably not, unless there's a strong fundamental catalyst, but it's still something we need to recognize. Bitcoin dominance is shooting up here right now. Okay, again, it's been maintaining itself above this 55% range for some time. And again, when it does that, it's generally more disadvantageous for altcoins. Okay, again, we want Bitcoin dominance to come down for altcoins to be able to do well. It's not bad that Bitcoin dominance is going up, but it is when it goes up and Bitcoin price goes down. That means that altcoins will dump. So if you're not familiar with that, I do have, and here there is I got it pinned, crypto trading sheet here. So when Bitcoin dominance goes up, right, and we see the price of Bitcoin go down, the common denominator here is for altcoin prices to dump. So just keep in mind with that being consistent at this point and no signs of Bitcoin dominance slowing down, we're going to see alts continue to suffer. Okay, so that's kind of some back end stuff, right? What's the front end, if this is such a thing? Let's take a look at the daily and kind of work our way down. So we're looking at all moving averages here. We wicked down perfectly to the 50-day SMA. That's what I was talking about previously as far as like being above that level and still, still being okay, right? So let me go ahead and extend these fibs out a little bit further out from our more macro perspective and get perspective here on where we're at for key levels. But generally speaking, that 50-day SMA is an important level that the price action will commonly wick down to. It did that perfectly, and we've held above this for a while now. So generally speaking, we're still okay. But we break below that level, generally speaking, we should expect the price to retrace further. Not like it's a key support, it's only, price is never going to drop because that is just an important factor to be above that for more of a bullish trend. Having said that, we are above the more recent point of control at 64,200. We talked about them being an important level yesterday. Take a look at the divergence here, of course, stochastic RSI swinging down. This is all par for the course here, folks. There's nothing that's changed here. The key takeaway is that the macro still, surprisingly, looks still moderately bullish, and we're still in good shape. Okay, so just because the price pulls back doesn't mean the sky starts falling and you got to sell everything and run for the hills and become an old town crier. There's no reason for that. Right now, this is just standard par for the course stuff. We've been expecting it. That's why we opened a bunch of shorts. Taking a look here, of course, at our 4-hour time frame, still under 50 in the RSI, generally unfavorable, letting us know that we were still diverging. Okay, simple, pretty obvious. But again, sometimes it's not. As you can see here, we got stochastic swinging up for the second time. That does carry more weight. Extremely, exactly the reason why we're seeing a lot of volume here. Or that's more so happening because of the volume rather. But still, this amount of volume does imply sustainability in the price action likely to recover. Because the last time we had a false positive here, right up here at this point, right when the price wicked up to 67,000, I told everybody in my community to not buy into taking a long position. We're still diverging, and it continued. The reason why, we had moderately low volume overall, and that doji candle closed more like a gravestone. This one here is a bullish engulfing type of candle, and it's looking solid here in that sense. So I do think a reversal for the moment is potential. And when I say reversal, I don't mean we're going to see 69,000 immediately. I'm thinking we're going to probably see the price retest a local fib level. We'll talk about that on the hourly, but just to summarize here, MACD is trying to converge. It's certainly trying, but this is kind of just, again, a little premature. So when we take a look at this here, we can see that the price action was supposed to reject off this descending trend line. Right now it's kind of essentially doing that, if you will. This isn't even a trend line, honestly. This is more so just a, our ABC pattern here for Elliott wave. And likely if this is the bottom, then we could be experiencing a reset here, okay? So again, I'll post this playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord so you know kind of what this looks like. But if we extend out our fibs, we can kind of see here that we got this 0.236 fib level, that's 64,800, or 64.9 rather, as a new resistance, okay? So roughly 65,000 is the tentative resistance for us here, that 0.236 fib level that was supposed to have held and didn't, okay? Furthermore too, if the price does end up pulling back any further, to clarify, 62,700 is that next point of retracement, okay? And again, these are macro fib levels. They're not always hit right away, but if we do see further retracement, I would say 62.7 is that next area there, okay? So again, generally speaking, not a favorable situation here. We take a look at the hourly as well, just to clarify. Just because we have a nice little pump here and a decent amount of volume doesn't mean we get ahead of ourselves too much. Because again, the lagging span is free and clear of the price action. Conversion line is way below the baseline, and we're below the cloud. We won't be above the cloud for probably another 24 to 48 hours, okay? So I'd be very surprised if we just break right through and act as if nothing happened. This kind of retracement does need time to fizzle out or to calm down, so to speak. We need to build a base. While there is somewhat of a foundation here forming, I still don't think it's enough. But my personal opinion here is that we will see the price try to push back up. A lot of times it will come back up to the more recent high. So we're going to pay attention to this level here at about 65,400. That's the more recent low, rather. I misspoke. That is the more recent low, and it should be the new high if the price continues further up. So hypothetically, in most cases, people will find success shorting that area. So again, if you're considering a short, somewhere in the 65.4, 65.3 mark might be an advantageous consideration. Again, you don't just blindly jump in right now because that's what it is. You reevaluate at that time once we get there. But just know that's a consideration for a short to the downside if there was one, okay? So again, that's kind of where we're at there. Generally speaking, pretty much par for the course. Nothing to write home about, but also nothing to freak out about either. This is normal stuff. Again, folks, just patience. That's the important thing. That's why we're able to kind of secure the profits that we did here recently, just mainly because we're waiting for the right opportunity. And sometimes they don't present themselves right away. That's okay. But hey, I hope you learned something here today. That's the whole point, right? And if you did, comment below. Love to hear it. If you want to join us over at BitUnix Phenomenal Exchange, link down below for that. At the very least, join us over on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. I do recommend Discord just because there's a tremendous amount of features and functions over here. And again, if you're part of my premium group, live charts and trade alerts are the newer functions there. Absolutely recommend you check those out. Thanks again, folks. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.